Yeah. Another rendition of the Two Ninja Kickback Gaming Edition. I am the great one with another great one. Yeah. Smoke it if you got it. My y'all boys out there is waking up right now. There's lighting some shit. Let's get ready to get their day started, man. I feel you, cuz. Get uplifted. Start your day with, I don't know, us, I guess. Man, what's up? It's your boy Camo, kicking another rendition, like I said, on the Two Ninja Gaming Edition. Tone, how you feeling, my guy?
I'm groovy, my guy. Just sitting back, smoking this nice little hour roll. Just thinking about rolling another one before, I don't know, you feel me? A nigga lay down and rest his eyes.
Nah, that before bed joint is important.
Oh yes, for sure. But other than that, man, I'm here, my nigga. You feel me? Two ninjas, and I'm ready to talk about some motherfucking video games. You feel me?
Right. We're gonna switch this one up. It's gonna be not as modern as we usually try to cover, but we wanted to, talk about the days of yesteryear and just the evolution of handheld gaming and where we started, where we came from. I would just synonymously work this way into the culture and shit like that, man. Like, if you want to talk about like some of the gaming moments that are up there as well. Like you talk about, playing Mortal Kombat on the Sega and all that shit, or playing Super Mario on the SNES or whatever. Like, your first handheld, some of those handheld classics were amazing too. Like you couldn't get Pokemon anywhere else if it wasn't on a handheld. So like, we gotta give, the handheld market some love too.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, like let's call a spade a spade. Like motherfucking Nintendo, when it came to handheld, I feel like was literally like Cadillac at one point. You feel me?
It was, nigga.
When it came to shit, like everybody had a fucking Cadillac car, nigga. Everybody had a motherfucking Nintendo, my nigga. Like
you ain't have a Game Boy, nigga. You was a loser.
Thanks. Whether it was the original Game Boy,
the green screen, the brick, nigga.
SP, nigga.
Well, you start your career cycle in the Game Boy era.
I ain't gonna lie, I started proper with the very first one for real. I got that from my brother. He was on the color and shit for real. And then I gradually got my own color and shit. And then, like, I think 2-3 years after that shit, the Advance came out.
I ain't even gonna fade you. I started my career. I ain't even gonna say I started my career. It was like my cousin who fucked with niggas. Like, he gave his old Game Boy to me and my cousin because he had just got, when they first came out, but for the color, they had something called the Game Boy Pocket. You remember that shit when they slimmed it down?
Mm-hmm.
It still had a slight variation of the green screen, but it was more like a tan screen. And it was like the Game Boy Pocket. They had that shit. Like my cousin had gave us the fat brick Game Boy, but then like later on I had got my own personal Game Boy and I started on the Game Boy Pocket. I had a blue one and then I had a red one. And like you want to talk about some of the greatest moments ever, like you couldn't believe you were just playing video games on the go like that. Like, I know they had shit before. Like, I'm a nigga who's held a Game Gear and all that other shit, but till you really got your own shit, you could just pull it out your pocket whenever before there was cell phones and shit like that. That shit hit different, yo.
Especially, like, for some reason, like, the Game Boy hit different for the simple fact of how sleek it was, you feel me? How stylish it was.
Yeah.
You can literally, like you said, pull that bitch out your pocket. Like, I was a nigga with one of the old Sega Jiffies back in the day.
Yeah, the Game Gear. Yep, the Game Gear.
Oh, that's what it was, the Game Gear?
Uh-huh.
Okay, but all right, we on the same wavelength, because at one point, you really had to whip that bitch out like it was a Draco in a book bag, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
that shit came with his own custom carrying case. The first handheld game I ever seen in my life was a Game Gear. Like, my cousin showed me one. He pulled this shit out of this fucking big-ass Balenciaga bag and shit with all these cords. What the fuck is that, nigga? He's like, it's a Game Gear, yo. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I do feel like honestly, like, if you comparing the fat brick Game Boy to the Game Gear, and I'm not sure on era and years and all that other shit, but that shit was blowing that shit out the water. I'm sure it probably came out afterwards, but the color was fucking phenomenal. They had, I don't know if they had Alpine subwoofers on that motherfucker, but the speakers on that bitch was loud.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I remember playing Shinobi on that motherfucker at one point in my life. And
that
shit
like,
sounded like a nigga had that shit on the TV for sure. Like,
you could have set that bitch in the back of a Chevy, nigga. Like, that shit was like that. But nah, like the biggest issue with that shit, bro, is them big ass batteries that shit took. Man, my cousin played that shit for all of 15 minutes, nigga. And could never
Mm.
find no C batteries ever again, yo. But that's why I think the Game Boy just had it on lock, yo. Like, fucking shouts out the batteries too, bro. Like, we used to mill through batteries like we was banging a 30 clip, nigga.
Oh my
Like,
god, nigga, what?
you was on a hunt. Like, parents couldn't keep batteries in the house. The remotes wasn't safe, nothing.
Did they take the fucking fat ass triple D's or was that
Which one, the
which
Game Boy?
was
Which
it? I think it was the Game Gear that took the
game?
triple
No, the
D's.
Game Gear. Yeah, the Game Gear took C's or some shit like that. They took
Yeah,
some
like
big
it was
dumbass
fat ass
batteries,
fucking
nigga.
batteries. Like when niggas only used them batteries to fight niggas at one
Play
point for
radios
real.
and
Like
shit. Nigga had to put them in a boom box. What the fuck is he doing in this joint? But it was a phenomenal screen on that shit. But that shit just couldn't hold a candle to being able to just slip a Game Boy in your pocket and pull it out wherever, yo. Like, and then like you
mm-mm.
said, as time went on, your brother grabbed the color. That's when the variation started switching. Like, where nigga have an apple green Game Boy, you got a purple one. This nigga got a red one. This nigga got a black one. So it was like when you came around, niggas, it was like if you had that certain color, you was that nigga. Like, nah, you ain't seen this clear
Oh
purple
yeah.
joint yet, nigga. And
That was
shouts
like the
out for
first time I
Nintendo.
saw a nigga with the motherfucking it was the all clear fucking Game Boy, but it was the original. It wasn't even the color for real.
Oh
When I
damn, yeah.
first saw that shit, yeah, like I thought that was some baller shit. And I traded him Tetris for his James Bond and shit. And that was like the meanest fucking steal I ever got in my life. And I ain't looked at it until then like just now for real.
I miss being a kid where you could get some shit like that off too, yo.
Yeah, like
Like I got my first Game Boy Advance trading a nigga some Doritos and like $10 or some shit.
oh
Like
wow.
my first Game Boy Advance, that shit was hard as shit too. It was black. It was my man's though too, and he, you know what I mean, he did some things to procure it. If you get what I'm saying.
I feel you, I feel
So
you.
he was trying to get that shit out of it anyway. But as a kid, you thinking $10 and some chips? Hell yeah, man! You know I'm gonna do with this 10. But I was able
Buy
to
some
get
more
into the
chips.
Game Boy Advance market. Like Game Boy Advance was it was powerful, man. But like it kind of got shitted on by the SP. Like the Game Boy Advance was really, really good. It had some amazing games.
Yeah.
Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Ruby. It had Leaf Green. Like, but when that SP came out and everybody had to flip, niggas thought they had two A's and shit. Like that shit was over, yo.
Nigga, I ain't gonna say in front of you. I remember that awkward switch because like Game Boy Advance had like a good 2 to 3 year of
It did have
dominance
a nice
for
little
real.
run. Had all the
And then
accessories, dope accessories.
and then for some like it's not even no strange reason or nothing like that for real. It was just like out of the blue for real. Like because I remember the main issue for the Game Boy Advance for real was it didn't have no lighting issue. Like it didn't have no inside lighting for real.
Yeah,
So
no
like
backlit
actually playing
screen.
your games, yeah. So playing your games at night was like a fucking hassle to the point
Right.
you had to resort to just getting like
One of them dumbass
motherfucking
lights that plugged in. You remember them
pretty
little
much
worm
for
lights
real.
that you
Yeah,
could bend?
nigga, I was famous for that shit. I had the official shit. I was like the only nigga in my school that had the official shit for real for my shit. You feel me?
Hey, shouts
So I
out
was
to
just
you.
playing my shit in the motherfucking desk and everything type shit. But
Nah, that changed the game too though. What accessories you had? I remember the magnification screen. I remember the fucking audio upgrade shit. Like that shit was dope too. Like if you had the fucking link cable, nigga, what? What are we talking
oh,
about,
the
man?
link cable when it
Yeah,
came
nigga,
to
you could
certain games
you
was
could
that shit.
trade with niggas. You could fight against niggas. Like that shit was awesome,
hmm
nigga.
That was like the true experience of multiplayer when it came to like actual portable shit for real.
Yeah, like on some real shit, like just on the go type shit. Like, and then you got to look at like the SP was definitely necessary, bro, because it was
It
like
was.
they added the lithium rechargeable battery. That shit already knocked it out the park right there. Cause like I used to run through them fucking AAA batteries that went into that Game Boy Advance. Like that shit that couldn't stay. Like I used to hate looking in that corner, seeing that red light. Like, come on, nigga, just put these fucking batteries in here, B. Ain't no fucking way. Nope, nigga, going dead. But then
hmm
you got the SP. That shit was super fucking compact, nigga. You slipped that shit
Yes,
right
nigga.
in your pocket. Nigga had the backlit screen on that shit, and it was rechargeable. That shit was out of here, yo.
Revolutionary, yo. Ahead of its time, yo. I feel like nowadays, if Nintendo wanted to come back with a fucking Game Boy, they can do that.
Yeah, they still got one that's knocking hits, nigga. It's called a DS. That shit ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, the
Like,
DS definitely ain't
and
going
that
away.
shit
Come
was
to think
like the
about it.
perfect evolution off the SP. Like, if you want to talk about a product where it gets better every single time, yo, you look at the
Yeah.
brick to the pocket to the color to the advance to the fucking SP to the DS. Like, it's like that SP was like a mid upgrade, but it had all the technology it needed for the fucking whatchamacallit. Because if you look at it, the
Hmm.
DS actually came with an SP built into it. You could still play your Game Boy Advance games at the bottom of your joint. You had the backlit screen, you had the fucking rechargeable battery, you had all of that shit. Plus, you had a new way to play new games, new graphics, all that shit, touchscreen. Like, you gotta give Nintendo their credit on certain areas. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's why I don't think they could be fucked with in that area. Like, and shots out to the PSP because it was like the PSP. If it would have came out when we was in middle school, it'd have been a wrap. But it was just too late. You know what I mean? Like the PSP was really fucking good, but the DS was just out of here, yo.
But like, I don't know. Like the PSP was definitely the hard fucking competitor. Like I felt like if the PSP could have held on a little bit longer, even in high school, for real. Because
Yeah,
I felt like they had niggas like once Mortal Kombat 9 came out and shit like that. Like they had niggas, and then once they just shut down the service for that shit, it was just a wrap after that. But in a sense, you had what was the top threats for these niggas? I mean, because it was just PSP, like it was just Sony and PSP for real. Like Xbox was silent when it came to the handhelds and shit
yeah.
like
Never
that.
got into the hand. It was already getting his ass whipped in the phone market. Like it's like no need to jump over there and get beat up.
Thank God though. Like you imagine the catastrophes that could come along with that.
I respect Microsoft for it though, yeah. Like
Oh
we
yeah.
stay in our fucking lane, bro. Like we know if that ain't us, we don't fuck with it. I'd be Sony that be looking at other niggas' homework like, oh, let me try that. Like, let me fuck with that.
I think Microsoft tried one time with the phone shit, and we seen how far that shit went for real.
They was doing phones for a minute. I think they still make Microsoft phones if they ain't start discontinuing them yet. But see, the problem with Microsoft phones was they did the stupid shit by trying to make their own iOS system or whatever. They should have just
Hmm.
got Android and called it a day. Like they should have just grabbed Android, threw it on their phones, and got it out of there, yo. It'd have been such a better situation because Microsoft had good phones. It's just
Yeah.
like they didn't have any apps because nobody supported the fucking Microsoft App Store. It was like nothing on there. Like, you couldn't even get the real YouTube and shit. This is coming from a nigga who had a Microsoft phone. Like, you know what I mean? Like through and through. I was like, oh, this shit's garbage, yo.
I ain't gonna lie, I had a Sony phone for a little bit too, for real. That shit was ass.
I'm sure. Like, yeah, I'm Sony. They discontinued their phone for a reason. Like, they weren't good either. So, like, if it's somebody sitting home, like, yeah, that's why I had Sony, nigga. Like, nah, I should trash it. But I think they was doing something with the PSP. It was just like I don't know, like I don't know why that shit ain't really do what it was supposed to do. Because if you look at the graphic comparison, the shit was like non-existent. Like the PSP graphic wise was fucking amazing. You had games like fucking Metal Gear. You had fucking games like GTA. DS
Yeah.
couldn't compete with nothing like that, but it did.
Nah. And they had modern games. Like that's the fucking crazy part. Like actual modern day games and shit.
Like you getting a new Vice City rendition, all this other shit. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I'm a nigga that's owned several PSPs, so I can tell you firsthand, like they come in handy too. Like they're not bad gaming machines either, but they shit just didn't hold that same nostalgia like that fucking Game Boy did, boy.
I think because it's almost in that sense like for some niggas, the PSP was their first like actual
Handheld,
handheld and shit.
yeah, because I
Just
know a
like how
lot
the
of
Game
niggas.
Boy was just for ours.
Yeah, you right.
Is in a sense that kind of just threw me back into like I remember my nephew telling me like his first Grand Theft Auto was Liberty City Stories. You feel me?
Ain't a bad way to start.
It ain't, but then you got niggas out here who first Grand Theft Auto is
Grand Theft
literally
Auto.
yeah, or shit even for the Nintendo era, Grand Theft Auto
Chinatown,
Chinatown. You feel
a
me?
phenomenal GTA too. Like I wish they'd
Yeah.
come back with that. Like they need to do something with that.
You look at that shit for real, like how a lot of that shit transition and shit. It kind of makes sense, like why some niggas are a little bit tribal, I guess, in a sense about that shit.
Right. Let me ask you this.
What's
Like,
happening?
we got the PSP and all that other stuff. Like, I say now for more modern shit. Like, I don't know if I'm a little hesitant of putting the Switch in that realm, but you kind of have to because it is like the only like mobile console we have right now. You can play it on the go, but it is an
Yeah.
actual console. I like the hybrid nature of it. But if you put that in the category with the other handhelds, which I thought was crazy at the time. I was like, why the fuck would Nintendo do that when the fucking DS ain't miss a beat? Like if you look at the DS sales, nigga, they ain't miss a beat, nigga. Like every year they do crazy numbers and shit. So you like, why would you throw another thing inside your own market that you're already dominating? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, are you going to try to persuade your own buyers? But
They would have no choice. I mean, but at the same circuit, I don't know, like, cause
they didn't have to make it. They didn't have to
they
make it.
didn't have to make
You
it
know what I mean? They
portable,
didn't,
but like, but they did.
which
You feel
directly
me?
makes you compete in that same space with yourself, though. So if I'm looking like, all right, man, I'm trying to like have something where I can go on the go, I can play on the airport. How do you look at a DS and how do you look at a Switch and go with the DS? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you make that call? Now, granted, the DS
Because the
probably has the
Switch,
larger library.
yeah, the larger library, but the Switch is more modern and up to date. You can still play more up to date games and shit. That's what I would at least think about it. You feel me?
Right, right. But then look, it puts your consumer at an odds. You get what I'm saying? Whereas though you could have made a home based console and then niggas would have just bought the DS for like, all right, I need my DS when I'm going on road trips, airport shit.
Mm-hmm.
I got this. I ain't got to worry about carrying my laptop, fit my pocket. I got all my games there. And then especially when you start dropping your juggernauts like a new Pokemon or new Metroid, whatever you're going to drop, new Mario Party, new Mario Adventure, whatever you drop, that's going to sell even more DSs. Now a nigga looking at it like, like, you know what I mean? Like, do I get the DS when I can just put that money towards this and have that as my mobile console?
Mm.
Then you losing sales on your big titles because now you have to kind of like the people that would buy a DS and that would buy that, they on the Switch now. Like you're not gonna convince them to go grab a DS just for this one. They're probably looking at it like, well, eventually these big titles are gonna come to the Switch. I might as well hold out.
Yeah. I mean, but you might have some people. I mean, you do have them.
I mean,
Some
you got
of
niggas
these
with money,
people. I
hell
mean,
yeah.
I mean, you look at like the Metroid systems and shit like that. You got the new Salmon shit that's switching back to 2D.
I ain't mad at the side scroller.
Shit, I ain't mad at it neither. Shit, I ain't mad at the new fucking Metroid. Period. You feel me?
Right. Because they're going to deliver. That's one thing about that. You can trust in that. Like, when it comes to Nintendo, when they put they names out there, they never waver on the game quality.
Mm-mm. I mean, but how can they like? How can they fuck up like a legacy born child for real, like Metroid?
Right.
Like, and
That's
that's the
like
beauty about that shit. Like,
when you work yourself into that space where you just trust it amongst the community.
yeah, I mean, you look at it for like, ain't nobody sit back and question them niggas on that shit for real. I ain't had no complaints about that shit yet.
Me neither.
I think honestly, that's what niggas all been like really wanting for real. To be honest, I mean, because when you look at Nintendo, Nintendo doesn't really have nothing to really offer when it comes to like actual like expansive multiplayer shits besides like Smash Brothers and shit like that. Actual like, well, I guess like
Almost in there with see, but then they got shit like Mario Party. You know what I mean?
yeah, like Mario Party and shit like that, like
Mario
goofy shit at
Kart.
least. You feel me? Like Kid and Goof. I won't even say goofy
I
shit,
wouldn't
but
say
like
Goofy or Kid, yo. I'd say just
yeah, like
party games.
yeah,
They do their
party
thing
games and
in
shit
party
like that.
games.
You feel me? But like when it comes to actual, like I guess like nigga, you want to just like trash a motherfucker type shit for real, you gonna have to look someplace else. You
Yeah, because a
feel
lot
me?
of times they don't get the third party joints. Like I think they got Call of Duty. They got Call of Duty in this new
Yeah,
shit,
they
right?
got Call of Duty and shit like that, but like it's very what limited,
Yeah, I mean typically you don't get a
limited
Call of Duty on
experience.
there
Yeah,
and shit like that. But
like
that's
I don't never hear nobody talking about playing like Call of Duty on a Switch like far as like multiplayer and shit like that. You feel me?
right. But like that's always what Nintendo does. Like they always downplay the power system. Like their thing is like we just want to deliver the best experience. We're not trying to build no huge ass juggernaut power box. We just trying to build something to play our fun games and shit like that. And fuck who ain't fucking with us.
Mm.
So you gotta wear that too, like. But like, and that's why I think Nintendo kind of made the grounds at like, with the game, like the Game Boy and shit like that. Like you became like that's everything with Nintendo is so integrated into your life. Whereas though like they always get that respect level because they just shape gaming for us. Like I remember being in the 5th grade, sitting in the back of the class, and everybody on the Game Boy playing Pokemon. Like everybody at different parts, niggas like trading with each other, niggas battling each other and shit like that. In school, you can't get that moment with any other system. PlayStation didn't do that.
Yeah.
Xbox for damn sure ain't fucking do it, but like, Nintendo, it's like we always have had it with us. Even back into the Nintendo 64, we harken back to some of the greatest gaming moments on the 64, some of the greatest moments on the GameCube, whatever. Like, I mean, now they've kind of lost that luster. Like, I said that way back when, though. I said the Wii is a good and bad thing because the Wii is bringing so many more casual players onto Nintendo, but those casuals not repeat customers, bro. They don't even understand it. So when
See,
the
but
Wii U came out, niggas didn't even know what the fuck it was.
yeah.
Their other attempt at a little more mobile game around the house, like, you remember you could play like the Wii U on the toilet. I think you might have been able to take it like outside somewhat, but not really. It was the big controller with the screen in it. You remember that?
Oh shit, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And it was the second version of the Wii, but niggas ain't even know that. Niggas grandmothers and shit ain't understand what no fucking Wii U was.
I mean, shit, niggas' grandmothers at one point didn't understand what the fuck the Wii was.
Right, but they was going out buying them. Like I know
Yeah.
so many older people that had a Wii. Like, you know what I mean? We was in high school and they was in their 40s, 50s and was buying that shit to do cardio and work out and shit. Like, all my aunts went out and bought a Wii. And like I remember being at Thanksgiving, the niggas was trying to tell me, swear me up and down that the Wii was the greatest system ever and all this other shit. And I was like,
nigga,
nah,
y'all niggas just lazy.
I
You
can't
get
even
your
say
lazy
that
ass up
one.
and
Yeah.
go outside and work out. That's why I just used to tell my cousins and shit like that, like my female cousins and shit, and think they know shit about video games and shit like that.
They
Be like, nigga,
played Just Dance a few times.
yeah, I was like, nigga, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born in this
Right.
shit. You feel me?
Niggas knew though, because they was like, he don't play nothing unless it got shooting and explosions in it. I was like, hey,
You goddamn right.
you right about that one. But the
And
crazy
quarter of
shit
your
is,
goddamn game content is nothing but that.
and I bust everybody ass that was playing the Wii. Like, see, this shit is childish to me, nigga. The skills
Especially
I
some
possess.
stupid shit like niggas think they've been
The Wii
since they
bowling
been
and
doing
shit like
whole
that. Like,
life,
yeah, I'll
yo.
cheese the shit out of this Wii bowling, nigga. You don't even know what the fuck I'm doing over here, nigga.
My nigga, I found a whole fucking secret to bowling on this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just pivot this controller a little slanted.
Look, I don't even gotta draw back and do all that goofy shit. Look, I'm gonna flick my wrist forward real fast. Watch how fast this ball come out, nigga. I'm gonna throw a jab, nigga. Watch how quick this shit roll down there. Another strike, yep. But yeah, man, like, shout out to Nintendo because I know a lot of like older people at the time when I was a kid was buying Game Boys to kill time playing Tetris and shit like that. Like, I had aunties that had Game Boys just for like Pac-Man and Galaxy and different games like that. It was just like, you didn't have a phone. Like, the cell phone games are fucking trash at the times. Like, even now, cell phone games are just at an all-time high. Like, I think that's how Microsoft gonna make their ground. Like, you look at what they doing now, like in the cell phone market for the xCloud, some of the Game Pass features that they're trying to locate, or not locate, but allocate onto the phone. Like, it could be something if they get it right.
Yeah.
That could be their handheld race. Like, they putting out a lot of attachment products that you can add for your phone to make your phone into like a gaming joint, and those are actual
Yeah, that's
Microsoft
true.
products.
I'm saying a lot of shit my man's went into just to play motherfucking PUBG on his phone and shit. And I'm like, nigga, for all the shit you spent, yo, you could have just actually just played PUBG on a fucking console and got better, my nigga. Like,
Niggas be chasing them bums.
yo, that shit be wild as shit, yo. Like, just
Probably
seeing
know
the
them
actual.
niggas ass on there.
See, and that's my fucking issue, cause niggas will actually come to me and talk to me about some shit like on Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah,
And I am thinking like, all right, yo,
nigga
so
going ham on the real Call of Duty.
yeah, so like, yo, I hate that shit for real. Then when a nigga talking about, yo, why you ain't never like pick up a game with a nigga, I'm like, nigga, I will see you on the game. You like,
I don't got that shit,
my
nigga.
phone, yo. Like, what the fuck? Then I see his whole setup. It's like a whole stream setup. Like, nigga got a whole PC deck. It's just his phone on that bitch.
Oh, that nigga really be playing that shit.
Like, yo, get the fuck out of here, yo.
Hey, shouts out to the mobile way. They done came a long way. Like, you
They
heard me.
have, yo, but
They
You
need
ain't
to
gonna
keep
have
going.
me out this bitch playing motherfucking Casual Crashes with a fucking controller, yo.
Nah, shit leveled up, yo. I can connect my Elite controller right to my fucking phone now. Like I was on that
Oh
bitch
yeah,
playing
yeah.
Like that shit is serious now, nigga. Like
Oh
I
yeah. I was playing
propped that
some
shit
Vice
up.
City on my motherfucking phone too with my controller.
That shit blew my fucking mind, nigga. I'm sitting there like, yo, is this really life right now, yo? Am I really on my phone playing GTA 5 with my Xbox controller? My fucking head would have exploded as a kid if I could have had some shit like this. Like I couldn't even fathom this shit as a kid. But we used to think about it all the time, like, damn, that'd be so hard if you could just play like your games on your phone with your controller, some shit, and then it makes it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, I don't even use that shit like that. Like, where am I ever going to use that shit? I never want to play the game that bad. Like, I'm in the middle of shit and like, I gotta keep going.
See, I ain't gonna stand in front of you. That's why I take my Chromebook with me, my nigga.
Yeah, it's like so many other options. But I guess if you don't got it, like the phone is clutch.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if like internet consumption is like that, like Chromebook ain't really no motherfucking wireless little piece of machine and shit. That's where your unlimited data with your phone come into handy. You feel me?
Little Wi-Fi hotspot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so many mobile and like handheld options now. Like, but it wasn't at one time where you really had to fight for handheld dominance, yo. And like Nintendo held that shit down for so many years.
Oh yeah. Still do fiercely.
Yeah, like
Still do
ain't
fiercely.
nobody even close to like being up in the ranks with them niggas, but cause I'm sure they still selling Game Boys to this day. Probably, yo, they
Oh
probably
yeah.
got the
Yo,
fresh
you look
SPs
at
rolling out the deck.
I was about to say, you look at GameStop stock for real. These niggas are still offering motherfucking Game Boys and all that shit for real. And them shits are going for like a good little bit of money. Like niggas was talking about paying like $80 for a motherfucking Game Boy Advance and SP. Nah, I think it was the SP for real.
They got the 3DS too now though. Like
Mm-hmm.
I sold my DS not too long ago, but they got so many variations of it now and shit. It's just like I want to see the next iteration. I want to see what they do with it next. Like where it's gonna go from here, because I feel like it's at the pinnacle. You got the double screens, one's a touch screen, all of that shit. Like they even experimented with like all types of different shit, but I just want to see where they take it from here. Like, do you do dual touch screens, no buttons, or some shit like that? Like, no, you have to have buttons. I'm not a fan of the screen buttons. Give me some fucking buttons.
I feel you.
I don't want to tap on my screen. I don't want to have to buy some suction cups to place on my screen. Just give me some fucking buttons. That's why I
See,
don't
that
play
was the shit
mobile.
that kind of turned. Yeah, I was about to say that was the shit that deterred me off of mobile games for real. Was just that stupid shit for real. I remember playing Metal Gear Peace Walker on my fucking tablet back in the day and shit.
Right.
And imagine just doing that stupid shit was just fucking nerve wracking.
I bought Vice City for my iPad. Played that shit for like all of 2 minutes. I was like, I can't play this shit. And it didn't feel bad. It's just I like the feel of pressing the buttons. Like I say the game wasn't skipping. I could really do the screen if I didn't have anything else to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
if I was just like was to sit down with it, but I'm just a fan of having the buttons.
Let me ask you this: since you played Vice City, right, on mobile shit,
Hmm.
did it feel like it was shortened?
Well, I played San Andreas, but I didn't play it for long. I did play Vice City on mobile, but I didn't play it for long. Like I'm not even certain.
Because
Like how
I'm
far
going,
did you get down the rabbit hole?
I'm, I just completed the mission. When what's that shit? When you got to drive the little helicopter and shit
Oh
into
yeah, I know what you're
the
talking about.
construction site and shit.
Yeah,
I just completed that shit for real on the mobile shit, and I'm just sitting back thinking like, yo, I
that mission
could
didn't
have
come
sworn
that
I had
quick.
to go through. Yeah, like I had to go through so much shit just to
It
get to
might
this
have.
one mission.
Yeah, think about it. Like it's not like I mean, but see, that's was like a space thing. Like they might have cut some shit out for like a space issue so it can run better. Like I could totally see that. But then it's like it's crazy to think how we used to have a whole console dedicated to running that shit. Now you can play it on your phone.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, even if it was at the expense of that for real, that's not bad. But like, as far as like a lot of niggas with like first experience is like that type of fucking format for GTA Vice City, it kind of it's kind of fucked up for real because like it kind of robs them of an experience that like a lot of niggas like actually came up off of.
But it's coming back. You know they get ready to do a remastered version. They talking about tweaking the controls and all that. I'm like, if they gonna tweak the controls, add some more shit in, do the graphics better, like way better, I might pick it up. Like I might really pick that shit up because I bought like you know what's crazy? I bought the GTA Collector's Edition pack on Steam, and like for some reason the controls are so fucking buggy it just doesn't work. And then
Mm.
I was like, all right, bet. I got my money back and then went directly to Rockstar and bought the triple pack again, and the same exact thing happened. And then I ended up joining the streamer stream, and I was talking to her about it, and she was saying like it's just a thing, it's just fucking wonky. So it made me think about it when they was talking about doing a re-release. I saw it coming for that strategic reason. I was like, it's because these shits is unplayable. The only real way to sit back and play GTA comfortably on PC is to download an emulator and play it through an emulator.
Mm.
And I don't think you can get Vice City, Liberty City, and San Andreas anywhere in a pack like it first came out. You remember when a triple pack had first came out on Xbox and PlayStation?
Oh yeah.
So they basically doing a remastered version of the pack, I believe. But it's definitely warranted. And I was just thinking, like, how the fuck can't they get it right on the PC when you got all these mobile versions that are running flawlessly? That seemed like that should be a easy out right
Should be an
there.
alley oop to be honest. Once you like really look at it for real, but
It
then
made me
again,
think about that old time. Remember, like, like now PC gaming is way more synonymous. But you remember when these niggas
mm,
had to literally wait for horrible ports to the PC from console games? Like that was the reason
yeah,
niggas didn't really want to be PC players. It's like, yo, it takes forever to port some of our favorite fucking games, and the ports are
yeah,
always nasty. It's like, so you
yeah.
can talk your shit, PC man, but play that weak ass port of 2K, nigga. Like, play that weak ass
What was
port of
that shit?
GTA, nigga.
Yeah, I was about to say it took like what PC 2, 3 years, 5 years just to get the fucking port for GTA 5 or some shit.
Like, that shit was bad, yo. I don't even know if Red Dead 1 is on the PC.
I believe it is.
But it's like, now, like, it doesn't really matter because it's like, that shit is so amazing. And you look at shit like the Steam Deck that's coming, like, I think that's going to be a competitor for, like, more so with, like, what Microsoft trying to do. I'd like to see what PlayStation would cook up in this shit for, like, a new PSP with, like, shit like the Game Pass or, like, just some of the Google Stadia shit or something like that. Like, I don't know. PlayStation has been okay with it, but I think they kind of fucked up by not making their PSP and actual PlayStation product work a little better together.
Mm.
Like I was clamoring for some type of cooler shit that you can attach to your PSP versus like it would give you a reason to have it. You get what I'm saying? Like more
Mm.
games should have showcased shit to it. Shit like that. Like even Nintendo can probably still do that. Like just have it make sense for me to own the console and the handheld. Like, and I know PSP had like certain shit where you could like continue playing some of your saves a little bit and shit like that. So that was dope. But they should have had it. I don't know, just like some extra shit. Like, damn, yo, I gotta go grab this. Like how they did with the VR for the PlayStation. Everybody ran out and grabbed the VR because they felt like they needed it.
Yeah, I mean, well, shit. You look at how PlayStation was marketing the VR. You feel me? Like,
Right, and you can't tell me that's like not almost. That's the price of an entire different system. So if
yeah,
niggas is going out to buy an accessory for that, imagine them going out to buy an accessory where they can play games without the actual system or some shit plus what they got with the system.
shit. Once you could tell me I could get some shit like that half the price of the fucking system, yo, and still be fine. Like, nigga, I get it's so many websites that you could go on. You could just Google and shit, and you could just type in emulator, and you can play the same damn beloved games that we all grew up and loved till this damn day. You feel me?
Right on the website. Like,
Yeah. And it's shit like that for real that like just makes the convenience of that shit even better for real. Like, I mean, but hey, if that's the sacrifices niggas gotta make, yo, I guess that's how it is. You feel me?
right. I don't know what else you got, man. Anything else you want to cover
Um, what
pertaining
do
to
you really
handhelds?
classify? Oh shit.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
matter of fact, no, I got you. What do you even classify as like a fire ass like? What was like a fire ass game that was like undeniable as a handheld game? Like Like when niggas talk Game Boy, if a nigga ain't talking about Pokemon, like what was one of them games that like a nigga had to have for real?
That's crazy you say that. Me, my whole Game Boy experience was based off of Pokemon. I only wanted a Game Boy for Pokemon, but let me think of some other games that I had on that shit. Like I had weird games. Like I had Jackie Chan Adventures. That shit was fire. I had the Kim
Okay,
Possible game. That shit was crazy. Like
okay.
the Yu-Gi-Oh games on that motherfucker was insane. Like they
Did
had
you
a
have the
couple
Yu-Gi-Oh
joints.
game when you can actually like type in the
The
card
cards,
serial
yup.
number?
Hell yeah.
That was
Hell
the
fucking
best
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh game to me, my G.
That shit was hard as shit, yo. Like, I thought that was the hardest shit ever. Like I actually had my real deck in the game. I thought that shit was
And
insane.
yeah,
But I just think Pokemon was so innovative with that shit. You talk about the expansion joint for the controller on the 60 floor that allows you to play your Game Boy games on a big screen, whatever, like Pokemon and shit like that. That shit was insane, bro.
same. Yeah,
You
I
sitting there
feel you.
playing the controller, you got your real Pokemon, then you importing your Pokemon from your Game Boy joint to the actual Pokemon Stadium and battling. What,
Yeah,
nigga?
yeah.
Shit was crazy. Like
And then when it
PlayStation.
came out with the little camera shit for the Nintendo shit along
Listen,
with
bro.
that shit, that
Listen,
was a
like for
yeah, that was
real,
a whole
nigga.
different vibe. I give you that.
Like niggas had the accessories, bro. Like and just that's just crazy, but it's mad joints. I can't think of them right now. I'm trying to think of like an adventure game that I played that was some crack on there because they had a lot of decent adventure games too. Like it had mad Zelda games on that shit. What was the joint with the four links, yo? Was it the four links?
Um, I was about to say Ocarina of Time. I have no clue. I'm not
They
really a
had
Zelda fan.
it was a Zelda game on the Game Boy that was like where you play with the four different links or whatever. That shit was insane.
Oh, the red,
Fucking
white. It was the
it was like
red, green, blue, and
something like
yellow's
that.
link or some shit.
Right,
Link in
right, right.
time.
Link in Time. That shit was fire. All the Mario shit on that motherfucker was out of here. Like
I ain't
everything
gonna
on there.
lie. Mega Man on that shit kind of had me sold for real.
Mega
I
Man
even
Smack. That shit
what
was
was
yeah.
it? The X was it the EX Mega Man, the futuristic one, where it was like the
Zero and
turn
all that
based
shit.
one.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one on that bitch, and this shit was online. I think when it came to like handheld based, that was like the first handheld based game online. I ain't really had or see no other games like really on the handheld shit actually do online capability until like PSP came out later with certain games.
Right. I think even they even had like I don't know what game it was. It was like a fighting game. That shit might have been Soul Calibur or some shit like that, or maybe Tekken or some shit. Where it was
Probably
like
Tekken.
you could play against niggas' shadows or whatever. Like it was semi online because you could download a nigga's shadow and you could fight his shadow. So it was like you was fighting his best, and it was like you know what I mean. So
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
that I think that was Tekken for
but that was early on. You see what I'm saying? It was like I thought that was crazy insane because it had a nigga tag over his head and everything. It felt like you was going against a real nigga.
hmm
Like the actions was different. The nigga move combos was different. Everything was
Oh,
accelerated.
matter of fact, I think it was Tekken for a fact because I remember playing Tekken 6. No, it wasn't Tekken 6. It was Tekken 4, if I'm not mistaken. Tekken 4 or 5. And basically, you know how you go through like the little arcade mode and shit when it's just a never ending battle for real, like fuck the story type shit.
Yeah, you just swinging on shit.
Yeah, it was one of them moments, and you know when you just looked at the names like you said for you to see random names and shit. And I know I fought like 8 different Pauls, but like all the different Pauls played different with different names and shit. And I was like, oh, okay. And then
Right.
that's when my cousin actually schooled me onto that shit. So yeah, it was Tekken that actually did that.
I believe so. I definitely believe so. But that's probably a handful of the joints that I played on there. It was like it was so many obscure games on that shit too that I played. I can't even tell you the title of it. It was just some bullshit ass RPG game. You know they had a million of them shit. Yo,
Mm. Oh
everything wanted
yeah,
to be Final
Sands of Fire,
Fantasy.
Ice
Yeah,
and Time.
nigga. The deluxe armory or some shit like that. You just sitting there
hmm
like, okay, I right, fuck with it. Let me see. That Final
You just
Fantasy
sitting back,
came
you
out
just
and that
playing that
shit did
weak ass.
numbers, yo.
Yeah.
That
Oh
shit
my
did
god, did
numbers.
it?
So okay, that's what they want. Is that what the people want? I got some shit for them niggas.
They knew niggas was clamoring for Final Fantasy. Like, and I was clamoring for Final Fantasy back when the first Game Boy dropped with
Yeah.
that shit.
Shit, Wild Arms was amazing back in the day too.
Oh, talk about it. Talk. You want to talk about a Final Fantasy killer? I feel like if Wild Arms was came back out with like a more up to date,
Yeah. For real, for real. They could redo the whole story for real, run niggas through it. You know what
What?
I fucking can't wait for, yo, Loki? I cannot
What's
wait
that?
for fucking a new Diablo to drop, yo.
Shh. You been saying this shit for how long now?
Nigga, I had so much motherfucking fun playing the other Diablo, yo. Like I keep saying, like, I think they got some new DLC for that shit, but I keep thinking about that shit. Like, I remember like probably my first game I ever really played on a PC that was actually like you could play it was Diablo, and it
Mm.
was just like it was one of the coolest games I ever played at that time. I felt like I was like one of them niggas. You feel me?
Felt like you was really in that bitch
Yes,
for
I
real.
was really in the
Cause
PC streets.
I
I'm like,
feel
oh,
you.
okay, what's this?
Because once I first played Warcraft, I finally understood it.
Right,
I
exactly.
finally understood it.
To this day, Age of Empire is still one of my favorite all-time PC games. Like, it's just something about sitting back playing like Age of Empire, getting your military
I'm
up,
glad
getting
you
your
said that.
resources up, all of that shit. That shit was lit.
I'm glad you said that because it's a new Age of Empire coming out, and I'm actually looking forward to it. To be honest, like I haven't gotten into them streets in a long ass time for real.
Right. I love a good like a game like that. Like it was just I
Real
don't
time
know.
strategy and
Yes,
just
yo.
building type shit for real.
Yeah. Like I think the Game Boy had a couple of them joints too, like and the
Oh yeah,
early essence of it. But yeah, I can't really fathom anything else. What you got for him, man?
um, I can't really fathom nothing either. Besides
What you want to leave the people with, my nigga? We can
this
get
weed
out of
hitting.
here. You feel me? You feel me?
Closing statements for real. It's your boy birthday tomorrow, so just to let niggas know, the 29th of Young
Hey,
God was born.
hey, it's
Other than
12 now.
that,
Happy birthday, nigga.
hey, oh shit, hey, there we go. Other than that, my niggas, I just want to thank you niggas for the journey. You feel me? It's been an illustrious journey,
Absolutely.
and not only that, niggas is actually looking to get some fucking sponsors and shit like that. Actually, and like actually in talks and shit like that. So got a lot of shit cracking for you niggas. Some merch, all that good shit on the way, all that good shit. You feel me? And
Yeah. Talk that sarsaparilla, King.
yeah, my nigga, and shit. We gonna let Cam talk with the doobly doos and all that shit.
If you want to be a sponsor, you like what you hear, you like the energy we provide, you want to get in contact with us, you can jump in the Discord. Anything you want us to try to promote or something like that, you want to touch base with us, you want to be more privy to some of the socials and all that shit that we got is directly in the Discord, and the Discord is right below. And whatever you consume this on, you can just hit the description or the bio, go right there. The link is right there. Click it and join the fun. It's going to do it for this one. Yeah, tell afterthoughts, man. We'll see you then.
Trying to light this blunt with a candle.
Don't meet me there. Beat me there.